So I often say to my clients, I'm never going to retire. I'm going to do this into my 40s because realistically, I choose my clients. My clients choose me. I'm invested in your life, your business, and what you're creating. Yeah. So the FHSA is kind of unique, right? We've had the home buyers plan through the RSP for a while. This is giving you an opportunity to save towards your first home, but not actually have to pay it back afterwards. Let's say you don't end up buying a place because it's Vancouver.
Right.
I'm always like, what you read in, these financial planning books and books that are like, this is how you build wealth. They're not always built put in markets like Vancouver. Financial plans should be multi-layered, and you want to have either yourself or someone that understands all the different nuances and how it layers together for you. But women have often been denied that coming together in a space where not only do we support each other, but we lift each other up. So I'm a firm believer that as a woman rises, she not only takes the other women in her life with her personally and professionally, but we're taking the men and our children with us too. And we're growing into something that changes the way not only business looks, but it changes the way our lives look. Right? What is the big, beautiful life to you? And to me, it is not sitting in a desk from 7 to 5 p.m. and tied to a desk. Mine is doing walk meetings and kayak meetings and tennis meetings and bringing women together 2 or 3 times a month to build connection and community. And doing all of that has built a successful business.
What makes the world go round is talk about that cha-ching sound like we count bills by the pound is.
Welcome to another episode of ROI Mindset Podcast, the podcast made by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. I'm Relo Tavares, your host, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Jennifer Thacker. She's a top-ranked professional financial advisor, a keynote speaker, and founder of Thacker Financial Inc. and the Women and Wealth Network. Jen helps professionals and business owners, especially women, build strong financial plans that focus on health, wealth, and living life fully. She's also the author of the upcoming book called The Big, Beautiful Life. So how are you doing today, Jen?
So good. Thank you so much for having me here.
It's a pleasure to have you here. So let's get it started. So Can you tell us a little bit about your story? What got you into the financial advising market? And why did you start Thacker Financial Inc.?
Yeah. I'm a storyteller, so you always get a little bit of a story, but I've had illnesses since I was a kid. So I've almost died 5 times. And when you spend most of your life, especially from childhood, sick, I came to this realization: health is wealth. But if you never have access to health, what can you actually control? So it started out, be a straight A student, get into university, get a great job, build wealth, because that money gives you the opportunity to have choice. Choice if you end up really sick, choice if you end up in a bad situation, choice if you're in a job that you don't like. Mm-hmm. And money was a way for me to build security for myself. And then I got really sick 8 years ago. And long story short, 7 years ago, January, I woke up well for the first time in my entire memory. At that point, I had been sick every day. I don't have any memory of days of feeling well. And when I woke up that morning, January, 7 years ago, I had this moment of, what is actually happening? Mm-hmm. And as soon as the thought popped into my head that this is what it means to wake up well, the clarity of the next thought was, people wake up feeling like this and we haven't changed the world. 8 months later, I was licensed to become a financial advisor.
Wow.
And so for me, for the first time in my life, I had health and I had wealth. And it was just this gift that made me feel like I was meant to do more. I loved the career I had. I worked in healthcare. And I was just, it was so clear to me. The gift that I had to get well was so much based in having a financial plan, having disability insurance. The only thing I had to focus on was getting well. And I ended up saving my own life and putting my body into remission.
Amazing.
Yeah. So health is wealth is like just something I've believed my whole life, but where it can grow into when you actually have both.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think one, it's a combo, right? Yeah. That's necessary.
Yeah.
For humans.
Well, people say money can't buy happiness, but money can buy you choice. It can buy you freedom. It can give you options.
Can give you a very comfortable place to live with your family.
Yeah. And if you're on your deathbed waiting to find out what's killing you and the doctors are saying like, we don't know what it is yet and we want to save you, money gave me the opportunity to not stress about keeping a roof over my head, what would happen if I couldn't go back to work, and allowed me to take the time to say, what do I really want? And I wanted my life back. And so I embarked on a journey of what was truly energetic healing. I didn't understand what I was doing at the time. It's now led to my strong belief that money is energy. But also, I now have my yoga teacher training. I've got my Reiki certifications. Like, it's been the most beautiful journey, not only to getting well 7 years ago, but to the life, the big, beautiful life that I've gotten to build through it. Yeah.
Agree. Moving on, as a woman entrepreneur yourself, what is the biggest challenge you faced when starting your company?
You know, and I believe men have this too, but it's a little bit of that imposter syndrome of, can I do it? Why me? What makes me different? Leaving a corporate career where I made 6 figures to be like, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to build this business because I want to help other people. It's one of the scariest things. I describe it as like you're standing on the edge of a cliff and you don't know if on the other side there's water to catch you, if there's anything, and you have to leap. And it's the scariest thing because on the other side of that, there's no one else to blame. It's you, right? You're betting on yourself to do it. And I think what holds so many people and women especially back is this fear of, can I do it? Can it be me? Am I worthy of it? But then also realizing that we don't need to do these things alone, right?
Yeah.
As entrepreneurs, there's a team you build around you also who's going to support you not only in business, but personally and professionally.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. It's a hard decision. In my case, I also had to quit a 6-figure job, right? And starting a new journey is fantastic. At the beginning, it's not easy, as you mentioned. But even though I was not making as much money I was making before, I was happier.
Right.
And this is priceless. And in that point, you see money is important, but sometimes your health also has to be prioritized.
Yeah.
Right?
Abundance comes in so many different forms. Like, nothing would make me want to relive the last 7 years to build this business to get here.
Yeah.
But when I look at it, having the choice to build my schedule, I still work just as hard, but I had these promises I had made to myself in 2018. Like that morning when I woke up well, I was like, how do I create a life by design? And I called it the Live It List. And big part of that is being in nature every day and having time to get on my yoga mat every day. That time is also an abundance, right? And so how do we make it happen that it's not just about, I want to earn this amount, but what does success actually mean to you?
Agreed.
Yeah.
And then do you want to know another thing? When you create value to your customer, let's say you create then a financial plan and they start seeing they can start saving money or they can see their investments are working. So it's priceless as well. Like you feel like, oh, I was important to someone.
Yes.
I helped them somehow.
Yeah.
Do you have the same feeling?
Yeah, I think there's 2 parts to money as energy and financial planning. Do you feel safe and secure? And then what is actually financial freedom and what would that mean to you? And helping people, just knowing what it was for me to have that gift to be like, okay, I can focus on my health right now because I don't have to worry about money. And to give people, so I say, what I want to do is I want to know what your big, beautiful life will look like. And then I'm going to help you create a plan so that money isn't what derails you from creating that life.
Gotcha.
Because life is going to happen. Bad things happen, good things happen, and money can be a way to increase joy, to increase abundance, but money can also be a way to give you the safety and security that you need to deal with a challenging time.
It's true.
And I love it. Like I love when I finish a client's plan, I'm like, okay, now go live your big, beautiful life. And when something happens, good or bad, tag me in. I'm on your team. Call me. It could be, I got an inheritance. It could be, oh my God, we have a leaky roof or a sick kid. Whatever it might be, I'm here. It could be my business just expanded and grew. I'm ready to incorporate. Or Jen, all of a sudden I have retained earnings in a business that I only started a year ago. Amazing. We'll redo your financial plan. It's your working, living document. And I just think, knowing that you have someone on your team and knowing you have this plan is such a great act of self-care. and pulling in your team, especially as a business owner.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And what makes Thacker Financial different from other financial advising firms out there?
You know, I think really when you're looking at a financial advisor, you're trying to find someone that you're like, this is the person I want to work with that's going to help me achieve my goals and help me through challenging times through the next 30 or 40 years. So I often say to my clients, I'm never going to retire. I'm going to do this into my 40s because realistically, I choose my clients. My clients choose me. I'm invested in your life, your business, and what you're creating. So I have an undergrad degree in psychology. I've got my yoga teacher training, my Reiki certifications. I've got my financial advising designation, my insurance license, and then this whole big, beautiful life and what I teach and do public speaking on in the book. You're probably not going to find many advisors that can talk to you about the energy of money, as well as just here's what money is and here's the basic rules of how this is going to work. But to really get invested in you and your life. And that's why I'm choosy about the clients that I take on as well, because I'm taking you on for the next 35, 40 years.
Yeah, it's a long journey.
It's a long journey. And I want to make sure that we inspire each other, we light each other up, we respect each other, and that we acknowledge how we've decided to engage in this part of a relationship as a client and an advisor together.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And Jennifer, many people search about the first home savings account, right? The FHSA. How can entrepreneurs use it to save money on taxes if it's possible, right? Especially with the deadline coming up.
Yeah. So the FHSA is kind of unique, right? We've had the home buyers plan through the RSP for a while. This is giving you an opportunity to save towards your first home, but not actually have to pay it back afterwards. So what you're doing is you're contributing, getting that tax benefit. So it's decreasing your income that year by your $8,000 contribution or the amount that you contribute. But later on, you're not going to actually have to pay it back the way you do with the home buyer's plan if you do it through the RRSP. So if you're thinking, okay, I might want to buy a place in a couple of years, or I don't know, this is giving you a number of years where you can save into this plan and have the growth. Let's say you don't end up buying a place because it's Vancouver.
Right.
I'm always like, what you read in, these financial planning books and books that are like, this is how you build wealth. They're not always built put in markets like Vancouver, where home ownership can be a bit extreme for how much you would need to have. So the FHSA, let's say you decided not to use it. It's not just a loss. The way they've done the rules is, unless this changes, because, things can change, but it can move into your RSP. And so it's just giving you more RSP room. So it's a win-win to start saving there and to have an advisor actually go through the plan. Would you do this in a year? Would you do this in 5 years? Is this just another avenue to save in case you want to further down the road?
All right. So it automatically helps me with my tax plan.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like an RESP, let's say. However, the purpose of this type of account or savings account is to buy my first home.
Yeah. So not RRSP and FHSA are the two that are probably the most similar. Because when you contribute to your RRSP, you do get that tax benefit of making the contribution.
Gotcha.
So the FHSA is going to do the same thing.
However, the purpose is helping you to buy your first home.
Buy your first home. And so in that case, you can use some of your RSP money as well as your FHSA, and you can bring those two together to help increase your down payment.
Lovely.
Yeah. So, and it's two different strategies, and you really, I think, would want to have an advisor to be like, why, if you're going to borrow from your RSP, if that is really supposed to be allotted for retirement, maybe you don't wait all the years you have to pay it back, because you also want to be contributing, building to retirement. So financial plans should be multi-layered, and you want to have either yourself or someone that understands all the different nuances and how it layers together for you. You
definitely need an advisor, right, to help you.
Yeah.
I think every case is a new case, right? Because it depends on the customer goal.
Yeah. So everyone is unique. So, there's, here's the 6 major steps to a financial plan and what we would create in it. But every person has their own unique goals, and everybody's in a different place to where they actually want to build towards. So I'm always like, no two financial plans have ever looked identical, and they shouldn't. We're not cookie cutter people. We're not cookie cutter business owners. We're talking about business owners. Sometimes people are just starting. They're sole proprietors. They incorporate. You need a financial plan that's going to grow with you personally and professionally. And picking the person to work with you that can actually see the whole big picture for you.
Yeah. And understand your goals.
Right?
Most important, I think.
Yeah. So, I always start with, let's get 3 goals. There'll usually be one shorter term, one midterm, and one longer term. And the reason why we do that is because it changes how we're going to manage your money and how we're going to plan for you.
I see.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And you founded the Women and Wealth Network, and you host monthly events for women in business, right? I love it. Why it's important for women entrepreneurs to connect like this, and what do people get out of it?
So I know for a fact that when women come together in circle, there's magic that happens. So when you're able to put women in a room together where everybody feels safe, seen, and heard. So part of the magic of the events that I create is having the women come in and really creating that space. So like, that's where you're getting yogi Jen more than financial advisor Jen, and creating that space. When there's that safety created and the way the conversations can happen, you're really building a place for women that maybe have come from the corporate world like I did, where it was very male heavy. And you're often in your business world then doing things in a way that is driven by a different way of doing business. Whereas women coming together in business can often be done in a very calm, sort of easy way, very, very heavy relationship building, which I know everybody talks about in business, but women have often been denied that coming together in a space where not only do we support each other, but we lift each other up. So I'm a firm believer that as a woman rises, she not only takes the other women in her life with her personally and professionally, but we're taking the men and our children with us too. And we're growing into something that changes the way not only business looks, but it changes the way our lives look, right? What is the big, beautiful life to you? And to me, it is not sitting in a desk from 7 to 5 p.m. and tied to a desk. Mine is doing walk meetings and kayak meetings and tennis meetings and bringing women together 2 or 3 times a month to build connection and community. And doing all of that has built a successful business.
What you said is so beautiful. And I really like your, let's say, business model, because if you connect with your potential customers and if you know their daily basis, if you are part of their routine, you know exactly how to help them financially, right?
Yes.
So it's easier for you to read their goals because you are part of their routines. You connect with them beyond the office, right?
Yes.
I think that's crucial, and that's a very smart idea.
When I first started, very briefly, I was being mentored by, it happened to be a group of men. And they said, listen, Jen, this is a transaction. Someone needs an RSP. Someone needs corporate whole life insurance. It's a transaction. That's it. And I said, no, a financial plan is not a transaction. This is actually, I'm on your team. We're talking about what are your goals? What are your hopes and dreams? I'm probably going to talk to you about some risks and fears that you don't want to think about. And we build this together for you. It is in no way a transaction. So often, especially with my female business owning clients, they also come out to the Women in Wealth Network events, and we've built friendships, right? Because we're, I say, I don't know, there's maybe 20 of us, 30 of us, 100 of us, but I see us growing old together and building this big, beautiful life, however you define it for yourself. What that is in your business, what that is in your personal life. And why wouldn't we want to be here to support each other, celebrate each other, and lift each other up along the way?
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very smart kind of like a business model, because you put everybody together and you guys create connections.
Yes. Yeah.
You especially connect better with your clients, I think.
Yeah, and it just gives a deeper level of connection. And also, one of my superpowers is being a connector of people.
Connector.
I've met 400 women now, one-on-one, before they got added to the Women in Wealth Network. They get an invite once or twice a month to 2 or 3 events. And I say, listen, if you need some girl power, you know where I'm going to be a few times a month, and come. And there's no charge to the events. There's no charge to membership. And I've taken the time to have at least a 30-minute one-on-one chat with every single one of these women before. So we know each other a bit. And then you come in, it's just been amazing. Like, I think it's down to like 2 degrees of separation now of how connected we are here in the Lower Mainland of people that are doing business in the way we want to do it. So you start attracting your people too.
Yeah.
Not just your clients, but also my team.
Your team.
Right?
Yeah.
Who do I work with to do my marketing? Who do I go to for my accounting? And you build your own team around you. And then this team becomes, I get a message once a week, Jen, you know everybody. Do you know someone that does this? And I'm like, give me a minute. Sending an email introduction, right? And how can we build this together? And I think that's what it is. It's community and connection so much more than it's networking.
I see. Fantastic. I have a second question for you.
Okay.
In regards to this women community, right? So studies show women often retire with 30% less wealth than a man. It's not me saying that, right? It's a study. So because of their career breaks and or like pay gaps, we know it exists, right? So how do you help women business owners especially, close that gap?
So I have like this favorite fact that I love to talk about. So women are going to control half the wealth in Canada by 2028. Looks like there's been an update to that study, and they're saying it might even be next year. But on the other side of that, only 1 in 4 women have a financial advisor. So there's some studies that are done that say, why is this? And I think this plays into pay gap and a few other things as well. And it kind of lists like here's the 4 top reasons why. And I think one of the biggest is I don't have enough money yet to be worthy, let's say, of bringing a financial advisor on my team. I don't have enough knowledge about investments. And so this list kind of, when I bring this up in a room full of women, when I'm speaking to at a women's event, they're like, oh, me. And I was like, oh, I was all 4. Like, I had to come around those same blocks. I was a high net worth woman by my mid-30s and had no idea. Right? So where is that disconnect in what we're taught about money, what we actually have, and how often a woman will come to me and I'll be like, look, it's a complimentary review. You're going to, send me your information. We're going to have a chat. You're going to send me your information. You're going to have a top advisor look at it. There's no cost to you. And we're just going to have an hour financial planning call. If nothing else, you're going to come out of it with some great information. I'd say close to 90% of the time, that woman is in a much better financial place than she thought she was, right? So that's one side. The other side is I find a number of women really get into their own business because they want to help others. So did I. I get called out on it sometimes. We're like, Jen, you do too much work for free, right? And I think it's that really acknowledging that there's a value to what we do and what we provide. And women sometimes just need a little bit more of a push to say, there's nothing wrong with talking about money. There's nothing wrong with saying, this is my hourly rate, or this is what I charge, or this is what my package is. And when women come together and have these conversations, we just open up more doors to be like, it's okay to say this. And so I often say, I'll be like, just because you want to help people doesn't mean you shouldn't get paid, right? There's nothing wrong with also receiving that energy, that financial compensation for helping other people.
Agree. That data you brought is huge. Like, can you repeat that? Women will take 50% of the wealth?
Yeah. So by 2028, women are going to control 50% of the wealth in Canada. On the other side of that, only about 1 in 4 women has a financial advisor on her team, working with her and supporting her, not only in her life and her business, but in her journey. So how do we start to bring that gap together where women are going to have more and more wealth, but that they feel comfortable to say, I need someone on my team to help me do this.
I love it. Yeah. And it's totally necessary to have an advisor to help you how to manage this money.
I'm like, okay, I think we were going to talk about it later, but I'll jump in. But like
Please.
AI, right? So if you want to just know what's in, FP Canada, Advocates, a financial plan, you could probably throw your numbers into AI and it'll come out and be like, okay, this is what you need in a safety net account. This is what you need here. And it'll give you that. Really bringing an advisor on your team is about the psychology of money, right? Seeing the whole bigger picture. This is where you are now. You've told me about what your vision is for, maybe you want to leave your corporate career to start a business. I'm seeing this whole big picture. I'm going to put things into your financial plan now that can grow, morph with you in this living document, this plan that now we meet at least once a year to do that with you. AI is not going to be able to do that. AI is not going to be able to be your money psychologist.
And that's one of the things that I think is a big advantage of your, I will call business model. I know it's not a business model, but your way of working, let's find that way. Because if you have these women congregating together and being part of your routine, you as a financial advisor can better understand your clients' goals, right? What they do, what they want to do in 5 years, what they want to do in 10 years, what they want to do in 30 years, where they want to live, what they want to do.
Yeah.
So, and you have this information because you are connected with your clients.
Yes.
On the other hand, maybe 99% of the financial advisors in the market, they have an interview with you. You say what you think you're going to do, and that's it. Yeah. But you, on the other hand, and I think is a way more crafted kind of work, customizable and personalized like a kind of work. You focus on the client in a certain point that you know exactly what this person does in their daily life, like basically every single day.
Yeah.
The connection is way stronger.
Well, and I say in the time that we're doing your financial plan, I'm living in your world.
Yes.
And when I get to the completion stages of a financial plan, how many advisors do you know that then go for a walk in nature to be like, did I miss anything?
Yeah.
Is there some nuance? Is there some, something in this goal that they might have in 10 years and really being invested in it? And I love that because that lets me bring together not only this, very number side of my brain, but also the yogi side of who I am to be like, yeah, are we really making this in your best interest for who you are now and who you might want to be? And I love the stories. I mean, I have male clients too. I just love creating this community for women and have loved doing it. But I had a couple years ago in the same month, 2 women reach out to me. And one was like, I'm ready to leave my corporate job. My side business has grown. And another one was like, she had this dream of changing her career into something that was going to allow her to travel more. And both of them, I was like, I'm about to go on vacation, but we're going to squeeze in a call because first things first, let's celebrate the fact that you're 3 years ahead of your goal. And don't worry, we'll redo your whole financial plan because this is the dream. Mm-hmm. This is the joining you in the beginning stages, let's say, of your goals and being able to grow with you. And recently I had a client where we set up her whole plan and then her business tripled. And so she just incorporated. So we meet next week to redo her whole financial plan. And I love it because this is us growing together and me being there to be on your team.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your secret sauce, I would say.
Yeah.
Fantastic. A common question online is how to keep personal and finances separate. So what's your best tip or advice for entrepreneurs on that?
So I can't give legal or accounting advice, right? Because I'm a financial advisor, but, just keeping things separate, whether or not you're working with a bookkeeper yet, an accountant yet, how do you keep what's flowing into your business separate from your personal? Have a second credit card, have a different bank account, be able to watch that cash flow and see what's happening. Because how do we know what your plan's going to look like? How's your accountant going to know how to tax plan for you if you don't actually know what's coming and what's going?
Right.
Yeah. And if you're incorporated, then you already know that all of that has to be kept separate, right? But the tracking, and I'm always like, do as I say, not as I do. I'm terrible at every month just making sure my bookkeeping is organized.
Me too.
Right? Terrible at it. But I pull it off because heaven forbid I wanted the accountant on my team to know that I wasn't on top of it every month. So, do it in a way that works for you. But we all know if we just do the things in the right timeline, we could probably avoid a week come our business year ends of going, I can't do anything because I have to pull together all of this paperwork, right?
Yeah. It's very tricky. Totally.
Yeah.
So people are curious about life insurance beyond just protection. Mm-hmm. So how can entrepreneurs use it for things like a diversification or even founding their business?
Yeah.
Is it possible?
Yes. So I often say when we're talking about insurance, people have this reaction of like, oh, insurance. I said, well, there's two parts to it. The beginning part of your financial plan, where we're building safety and security. And then later on in your financial plan, as you're building wealth, insurance is a way for wealthy people to get wealthier. So what we can use is life insurance. And there's another product that I love to talk to, especially accountants, about that they don't know, which is critical illness. When we're putting those into an incorporation or we're using them for a high net worth individual, what we're doing is we're almost creating another way to build money for you in a way that it's not taxed as it's growing. So if you've built wealth either in your business or personally, there's only so many ways to tax efficiently plan with that wealth, right? TFSA, RRSP. In your business, we can look at, there's a number of different ways we can do it, but using whole life insurance is an amazing way to do that. Now, it's one product that is so customizable, it can be designed for you in maybe 50 different ways.
Wow.
So if you're meeting someone that's only talking to you about your financial, like, hey, you're an incorporated business owner, you have this cash flow, I want to set up this life insurance policy for you. I would say find an advisor that's going to talk to you about what are your personal goals? What are the goals for the business? Where is the cash flow going? And then how do we maybe use this product to not only create an asset within your business, because we can do that. So then we can leverage that cash value to say, you want to open up another studio. And instead of having to go to a bank for a business loan, we've created this asset that maybe we can leverage for you, depending on how we've designed it. We can also later on down the road, use that to plan for what's going to happen with your wealth in the business when you pass away. So there's so many layers that if someone doesn't know what your bigger picture looks like. So it's an amazing product to be used, but to know that it's not cookie cutter. The same way your financial plan's not cookie cutter and you're not cookie cutter, neither is that product.
It's not something you pick from the shelf and say, oh, this is for me.
Yeah. So whole life insurance done on a young child has been branded as the $1 million baby. Right? So we can also put these products on a newborn. So around the age of 65, you've now accumulated $1 million within there. So it's not life insurance really what we're using it for, because most people don't feel aligned with putting $100,000 or $200,000 of life insurance on their newborn. But it's a strategy called the $1 million baby. Infinite banking concept. There's a bunch of books on that. That's also using life insurance. So a lot of these words that get thrown around and you're seeing, influencers talking about, yes, they're great, but it has to be designed specifically to what are your needs and what are your goals? And are you going to be able to continue to fund that policy? Because the worst thing to see is when it's been set up incorrectly or not in alignment, or taking into account that a business can have different cash flow, different years. What if you want to take a year off to travel, right? And now all of a sudden there isn't this lump sum of $30,000, $50,000 or $100,000 to push into the policy. So I love doing them, but it's a much deeper conversation.
Gotcha. Fantastic. And that's the reason you guys need an advisor, especially the advisor who knows your daily basis, your dreams, and everything you do. Love it. So disability insurance is something many people skip, right?
Yeah.
But some data I will bring up. So 1 in 4 Canadians will face a disability before retiring. So why is it a must for business owners, and how do you help pick it right? Do you have any experience with that kind of stuff? Is there anything you'd like to share?
So I will say it's very rare that any of my clients don't get an in-depth conversation about insurance. So having almost died 5 times myself, I've had acute renal failure, an autoimmune disease, a brain injury. People are always like, I'm going to be healthy and well. So these stats, right? Who's going to get a disability? So often with disability, we're talking about an accident, an illness, an injury. The stats are 1 in 2 Canadians is going to get cancer in their lifetime, right? So are you off work if you're dealing with cancer and having to go through whatever that treatment might look like? Yes. That's also where disability insurance pays out. So a combination of these two, critical illness and disability insurance, is what we call living benefits. It's things we're putting in place right now to support you while you're alive. So if you were the 1 in 4 to get a disability, if you were the 1 in 2 to get cancer or critical illness, what actually happens as a business owner if that takes you out of your business for 6 months or a year? Another thing for a lot of business owners they don't think about is, what if it's your partner? What if it's your business partner or your life partner, your spouse, that gets sick and you want to take time to be there for that person? So there's so much necessity in building these. But if you're incorporated, we can also have the company paying for it. Critical illness can be set up as a way to like help give you a payout for retirement if you stay healthy. So my goal is always, if we're using insurance, is there a way that it could work in your financial plan in 2 or 3 ways? And like make that plan bigger for you. So yeah, I'm very big on, if someone's like, I don't believe in insurance, I'll say, I don't know if we're the right fit, because unless you have wealth built that you could deplete if you couldn't work for 2 years, then insurance is the only way to make sure that you, your business, your family is going to get through a challenging time. And to believe that you would be one of the 2 people that would not get cancer in their lifetime, I'm often like, it's not really fair to want the other half of the population to go fund me, the half of the population that didn't plan, knowing I don't want to walk around talking about the stats of like death and stroke and cancer to people, but it's necessary.
It is.
It's necessary to plan, because I'm proof that when you don't have to worry about money and the doctors are saying that you're dying, taking that stress of money away let me realize there was a fight in me.
Exactly.
Right? A fight that I wanted
Focus
my
on
life
yourself.
back. I wanted to survive. And it gave me access to many different ways of healing. I mean, I went on a meditation retreat. I was doing acupuncture, like everything. But if I'd been worried about money the way I was when I had renal failure in my early 20s, there was nothing other than the thought of, I have to survive so I can get back to work.
Perfect.
Yeah. Long answer to that question.
No, but it's important to talk about that. I think some people, they don't want to face the reality, and the numbers can show us like the reality, right? So we cannot just skip it.
Yeah. And I understand, this is my understanding from the industry, is disability insurance is not sold enough. So for me, it's in each person's financial plan. If you're not getting disability insurance, and often I just share my story, it is very challenging to get disability insurance when you've almost died 5 times, you have an autoimmune disease, you've had renal failure. So my whole financial plan changes without disability insurance. My safety net account has to be larger. This is now money that could be invested for the future in a portfolio that could produce more, but instead you need the money almost cash in hand in case of an emergency. Much better to be able to have insurance.
Fantastic.
And use that money to actually invest and build towards the future goals.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very it's opening my mind for all these new topics and stuff. And I hope you guys who are watching us also can take a look at that. By the way, every social media, your website, I will put everything in the description right below. You guys can easily have access to Jennifer. Talking about social media, how has social media like Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook changed the way you connect with clients and grow your business?
So, I never posted pictures. I never took pictures. I didn't do any of this. And when I woke up well 7 years ago and it started this journey into the big, beautiful life and the Live It list, a big part of that was I don't post anything, but I've done these amazing things. And it started out really with me sharing because I wanted it to always be there. So I could look back to the trip to Italy 11 years ago as I'm about to go again in a couple of months, right? And so it started in that way. And it was really for me. And then as I started the business, I had these doubts of if someone saw me in nature every day and, I travel quite a bit. I spend a lot of time doing outdoor activities. What would they think? Would they think I'm not working hard enough? And as I kind of grew through that first couple of years, I went, no, actually, this is my big, beautiful life. I want to share it as an inspiration But really at the core of it, I share it because I want the memories and I want to see it. So it was never strategically done to build towards something. And then over this last 7 years, as it's grown into a book and public speaking and supporting this network of women and everything else, I love that it's a passive way really to stay connected with people. It's just saying, hi, here I am. Here's the speaker at my next women's event. Here's the podcast I was on. Here, let me walk you through the 5 key principles to a big, beautiful life, because I talk about them all the time, but till the book is done, maybe you don't know. And it's become this beautiful outlet of storytelling for me that I enjoy.
Lovely.
Right? Because often people are like, oh, why would you do your own social media? I was like, but I'm a storyteller. It actually fills my cup.
Do you think you inspire people based on your way of living?
So it's always where are you humble in it and where are you like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
I probably at least a few times a week have someone saying to me, I've been following your social media and now I'm getting into nature every day. Or like, thank you, I heard you speak at this event and you were right. Writing 3 things I'm grateful for every morning was something that takes 3 minutes, but it shifts my whole day and working through it. So, do we intend to be an inspiration to others? That was never my intention.
Right.
I think it's just a beautiful place that by living fully, authentically, stepping up and just being like, this is who I am.
And that's the power of social media. People, in order to, one of the main problems right now in the society is the lack of trust, right? So especially for a financial advisor, they will not contact you if they don't know what you do, if they know who you are, right? The podcast is one of an amazing tools in the market to expose you. But if you share your daily basis, you have higher chances to connect with people, right? Because there are tons of other professionals in the market, in your niche, in my niche, and many others. In order to choose you, they need to understand what you do, who you are. And social media is one of the most amazing tools that you can make people get to know you.
Yeah.
Right. And what you do, I think it's amazing because you show the other side of a financial advisor who is the person that usually is in the office, right? A very serious person all the time, does not show about their personal life and stuff, do not connect with many people. And you show the other side, who is a person who's connected with the modern nature, right? You also enjoy life. You connect with people. And I think people connect a lot with you because that's the reality of most people, right?
Well, and we attract people that are similar to us. So, I posted camping with, I call it, these boss babe camping trips where I go away with there's sometimes their clients, just other women in business. And we also have the spiritual side. So here's this camping trip where we're sitting on the side of a river having deep conversations, not only about our personal lives, but our professional lives, our visions for our business, while we're eating beautiful food. And I'm still okay with sleeping in a tent. I still like the fancier retreats. It's such an amazing way to just say, here's who I am. I teach these 5 key principles to a big, beautiful life, but I'm showing you every single day that I live them. So I'm not trying to teach you something or say I'm an expert in something. I'm the walking, living, breathing proof that these 5 things work and have gotten me through some really challenging times in life of illness and, other things that I go more into in the book. And I just get to share. I literally get to be the big, beautiful life in the brand. And I post these things and often almost once a week, that will bring someone that's been following me, that's maybe met me or come out to a women's event or heard me. You and I met when I was speaking at an event that was for male and female business owners. And it just makes someone go, yeah. And so about once a week, I'll have someone say, that made me want to choose you as my advisor, or that's made me choose you as someone to refer to, or I'm sending you 3 other women that I think would love to be a part of the Women in Wealth Network. And it means I said my dream when I started this business is I never wanted to look for a client. I wanted it to be connection and community. And I'm at that place now where things happen in alignment and I never have to walk into a room and be like, hi, I'm Jen Thacker. Do you need a financial advisor? And
That's
hand my
awesome.
business card, right?
You connect a lot with your lifestyle, who you are, and your results and everything that you give back to the universe. That's amazing. people have been saying a lot about AI tools, right? Some advisors worry about AI tools like chatbots that could replace human advice. I know we talked a lot about that, but how is AI impacting financial advising, and does it help or hurt your work?
So everything is a tool, right? And how do we want to be in a relationship to that tool? I will say that AI is on my team. So when it's trained with your voice, right? And what you say, what you believe. So the first draft of my book is uploaded to my chat GPT. So it has 36,000 words of my own. So now I can lean on it to say, I've written this. Can you just make it sound a little bit better? I think where AI has people using it the wrong way is if you're letting it just write your content, because I can tell it uses way too many emojis. My response is always, ew, I don't like emoji. I do in text messages, but I'm like, no, I'm not doing a LinkedIn post with emojis. Take those out. On the other side, if people are getting worried about being replaced by AI, by a computer, it's not the first time. When computers first came out, if you're worried about being replaceable, then you're probably not, I'm going to say, truly in alignment with your clients, the value that you bring and what you're bringing to the table, right? I'm not worried about being replaced because I know I know there's no one else out there like me. The same way there's no one else out there like you. All we can do is be authentically true to who we are. Our businesses are a part of that. And then AI is a tool that can help, but it could never write my book. It could never write the words that I write in inspiration to others, right? So it's a tool. And honestly, sometimes when there's a challenging email to write, that would take me like an hour to be like, how do I want to word this so it has the right tone, the right this? I'm just like, okay, make this sound this way. It's like having an assistant.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you.
I resisted it.
I agree with you.
For a long time. And now I'm like, ooh, thank you. You're making my life easier.
Yeah. Agreed. Totally agree. And what is one mistake you see entrepreneurs make on social media when talking about their finances? Is there anything that you see that you disagree maybe?
So if an entrepreneur who's not in financial services, I would say the greatest is people not speaking about the value of the work they do, the worth, the cost, the charge, right? Like, how do we leave those conversations to the end? On the other side, for some of the TikTok influencers and people that are putting financial information out there, you'll notice in this whole interview, without knowing someone's numbers, I'm not going to give any form of advice because we're required to do a financial needs analysis and know someone's numbers. So what I'm finding is there's information out there that's not right. It's not right for certain clients. And I was like, please don't use TikTok as your financial advisor. And a lot of those influencers do tend to be American. So for a while, there was this whole thing about infinite banking. The way insurance is structured in insurance companies in the States is different from here. And not everything is interchangeable, right? So that's my take. Does that answer the question?
Right.
Yeah.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
Totally. And here's the tough one. Like I would say is the hardest question I will ask you today. So some people say financial advisors are just salespeople, right? Pushing products and trying to get like more clients for commissions. So how do you make sure you are always putting clients first? It's the conversation we had. They pick up product from the shelf and offer to a client.
So I'll start by saying I'm an independent financial advisor, which means I work for my clients. So as an independent advisor, I'm like a mortgage broker, a realtor. I hang my hat somewhere. That has nothing to do with what happens with clients. So Thacker Financial Inc. and me and my team is who works with you. Now, because I'm an independent advisor, that means that I can access various banks and insurance companies. So in the end, I'm not limited to a product shelf because I technically work for that bank or insurance company. So there's never going to be a reason for me to say to you, this is your financial plan, because I can only offer you these 5 products.
Okay.
Right? So I think that's important. when you're looking for an advisor is to find someone that works for you. So, we attract what we are. I often attract a lot of business owners that have had health challenges. Well, that makes insurance underwriting challenging. Well, I worked in the medical field for almost 20 years. So I have more medical knowledge than most financial advisors would have. Plus, I've been through my own health challenges. So I'm able to say, instead of, here's this product and you should have this because you have all this money sitting in your corporation or your high net worth, I can say, let's actually talk about what the plan is, what your goals are. Let's talk about your health a little bit. So instead of selling you a product that turns out in the end, now we've got you sold on a product that we can't actually put in place for you because we can't get you through the medical underwriting. We look at the whole bigger picture. And I can then go to 5 or 6 different insurance companies and say, here's this person's medical history in all confidence, not sharing who it is, and just do an inquiry first. So if you're limited to only being able to use one company or 4 companies, whereas I can go out to 20 or more and find the right solution that fits your plan, your goals, and your future.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Tricky question. What do you think about Bitcoin?
Ooh, okay. So I do not advise in Bitcoin.
Okay.
That is kind of my one hard rule that I've had. So
Too risky.
here's my thing. People always share the stories with you. Oh my God, I did this thing and I got a 300% return. Oh, I made millions of dollars in real estate. Those are the voices you hear. The voices you don't hear are the people who lost everything in an investment, in a Bitcoin. So where I stick with my clients is when your financial plan is created with the money that is remaining, right? Like so much of financial planning is just doing these very small steps incrementally and what it grows into over time, right? Time is probably the most important part of building wealth, starting early and time. And so then I leave it. And I know there's some people that do like venture capital and other things. They don't like my wording, but I'm like, it's play money. What I mean by that is, could you lose that 30 grand or that 300,000 and it doesn't derail where you are now? It's not going to affect if you get sick. Or sometimes like, what if someone calls you up and says, hey, do you have 30 grand to rent a yacht and go sail around in Italy for 2 weeks? Like, I think most people would want to be like, let me find the money for that, right? I would. That's, so if it doesn't derail any of that, then go and put it into a risky investment. People are often getting tied into this. Well, I was promised a 300% return and they said in 2 years, and now it's been 10 years. They don't know if it's going to come out or not. So to always just, have a plan. And then once the stability of that plan is in place. So I'm very, very much on the risk management first.
Gotcha.
Because I care about my clients so much. Yes, I want to build them wealth and we're going to do all of those things. But the first part of your plan is, do you have the safety and security that you need?
Very good. Awesome. Love it. It's almost the end, right? I have 2 more questions to ask you. So we could keep talking for 1 or 2 more hours. But what I have to ask you is, what is one simple step a new entrepreneur can take today to start building a strong financial foundation?
So a new entrepreneur just starting out, I would say get the safety part of your plan done as soon as possible. Everything that's growing, this plan, this business, the vision that you have is probably banked on you being able to work. And who are we kidding? Entrepreneurs aren't starting out working 20, 30 hours a week. That might be the dream and the vision. We're probably working harder than we ever did in our previous careers now as entrepreneurs. So that safety part, having disability insurance, like we talked about, having a safety net account, having critical illness insurance, having a buffer to plan for what if you make a lot of money in 6 months and then there isn't any cash flow for 3 months. So that safety part of the plan, I look at it as kind of an inverse pyramid of like, where's the part as a new business owner, you're just trying to like keep your head above water, is engage in getting that done. So if it's just you yourself, build at least a 3-month safety net account. Like if you don't want to work with an advisor, if you're like opposed to insurance, or meet with an advisor like me that'll just do a half an hour call with you, no commitments, nothing else, to have a chat. But if it's you on your own, FP Canada says a minimum 3-month safety net account. I would say we've all lived through COVID. We've all seen what can happen when all of a sudden, we just don't know what's happening. Make it 6 months. But better yet, find a person to be on your team that will have that conversation with you.
100%.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Last question. So looking ahead, what is your big goal for Tucker Financial or the Women and Wealth Network in the next 5 years?
Yeah. So I've just finished the first draft of my book, The Big Beautiful Life. And in the last, 6 months or so, I'm doing a lot more speaking on this. And really, money is a part of living the big, beautiful life, but it's how do you actually live your life and create it by design? So as this is growing into this, I don't know what it's going to be. I absolutely love what I do as a financial advisor and working with clients and businesses one-on-one to build safety, security, freedom, the big, beautiful life. And this has become like a calling now to talk more about it and build it. So if nothing happens with the book, I'm okay with it. If it's just for, people like you, that's like, I'd love to read it. I'm also happy to just gift it to the people in my business world and personal world that want to read it. But I think really what's going to end up becoming of this is, Thacker Financial will grow bigger and have more and more advisors. They're in alignment with the big, beautiful life, with really talking to people in depth about who are you? What are your goals? What are your risks? That is a need we have for financial advisors that I myself never found. So as a high net worth woman in my 30s, not a single advisor that wanted to manage my wealth ever talked to me about who I was, my goals. They didn't even talk to me about my health. I could have gotten disability insurance 10 years ago. No one ever talked to me about these things, right? And really looking at how can we do this more so that more and more Canadians feel comfortable with where their money is so we can create lives that really truly fill us up, that we can be inspirations to other people walking around with big smiles on our faces. It makes us better individuals. It makes us better business owners. It makes us better parents. It makes us better friends. The more we feel like we're living our life in alignment. And that's my hope by sharing more of my story, by writing the book, by doing more public speaking is, the shift in just our city to start out with people feeling more aligned and like they're living lives that really, truly light them up.
I cannot wait to read your book. Yeah, fantastic. I really appreciate that. So thank you so much for coming over. So guys, that's all for today. I will put Jennifer's information in the description right below. You guys feel free to contact her. Jennifer, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was amazing.
Thank you. You did great.
What makes the world go round is top about that cha-ching sound like we count bills by the pound is we can't stop cause we're living for the money. What makes the world go round is top about that cha-ching sound like we count bills by the pound is don't stop, rock the block, cause once we get started, then we just can't stop. And when you see the Lamborghini, then you know what's up. Because cheap is cheap and the talk is talk, yeah. Now we chillin' on a cruise ship, take a jet to Korea, how we do it. All the players are playing the game, head is looking lame, so we started getting money and you know we stay paid. Size and size.